Welcome to RickRackRuby. This is my Valentine Gnome couple, Candy and Carl. Hopefully you've already watched Carl's video, and today we'll focus on Candy. Her face is embroidered and her hair is this fabulous pink yarn. Let's get started. For my gnome woman, I'm also going to use a 17-inch cone and the second sleeve from this pink sweater. I can see there's a hole here, but I think that's going to be covered. I don't think it's going to be such a big deal. So again, I will cut, stitch, turn, and cover the cone. And there we go. The cone is covered with a pink sleeve, and now I'm going to secure this with hot glue. So this is secured with hot glue. And the next step is to take an index card. This is a 4x6 index card, and I just folded it in half and cut out a heart shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is that this heart is going to make sort of a bodice for her dress. I'm going to cut it out of red felt. The seam is in the back of the gnome, and so the front is right here. And I'm going to glue this heart 1 inch above the bottom. I was hoping it would cover this hole, but it's not quite right. But I still think we'll be okay. Now for gluing the heart, I'm going to use the tacky glue. I'll apply the glue all over the back, and then I have like a little stick to sort of spread it all the way out to the edges. I'm going to spread the glue with a stick so it kind of goes out to the edges a little better. Now 1 inch above the center front. It does not have to be perfect, but you want to get that started so that the glue is dry and you can continue on to the next steps. For the face, I have fused some interfacing to the back of a piece of felt. You can use any color you want. And this is kind of a peach color, but pink or tan or brown or white, any color will work, whatever you like. And I'm going to use my die cutting machine to cut out an oval for the face. This oval is about 2 by 3. Here's how it looks. And right now I want to tell you that the face goes on this way, not this way, this way. We're going to embroider the face, which is why I put some the interfacing on the back. I'm just going to draw on some indicators for the mouth. I'm going to do sort of a heart-shaped mouth, and then the nose, and then the eyes. Put the features a little bit low on the face. There's a lot of hair, and the hair comes down into the forehead. The embroidery is done with 3 strands of floss. For the mouth, we'll use red. To sew the mouth, start at the bottom center. We're going to make a heart-shaped mouth. Do a lazy daisy stitch, like this. Looks about right. Okay. That might be a little bit too vertical. I might have made it a little bit more of an angle, but it might look okay. Let's just finish it and see. And then the second lazy daisy stitch, starting in the same spot and also coming up like this. I think this will be fine. Does not have to be perfect. The sides don't have to be even. And then to make it look like a smile, I'm going to do just a straight stitch right across. Haha, cute. See how easy? And then just knot off the thread on the underside. The nose is just a straight stitch. I think I'm going to do a little fly stitch so that the nose goes up a little bit. You know, she's a gnome, and so her features can be a little bit larger. Let's see how this looks. I've done this before, believe me. But every time it's just a little bit different. Yeah, okay, so she's gonna have a little nose like this. And again, I'll secure the thread. And then I'm going to use black for the eyes. Again, 3 strands of black floss. We're going to do 3 stitches for each eye. They're straight stitches. All 3 of the stitches are going into the same hole at the top, but they go out on the bottom to form sort of like a little triangle. And if there's spaces between the stitches, that's cute. That just gives a little bit of life to the eye. I'm thinking I'm going to risk it and just go on up above the eye and make an eyebrow. See how that looks. I like it. It's a little strong, but it's okay. Now, since I have the interfacing, I'm not too worried about that thread showing through. But if I hadn't interfaced it, that might be a shadow. Let's have a look. I think it's going to be okay. So now we'll just repeat for the second eye. Three straight stitches. All 3 of them going into the same hole at the top of the eye, but spreading out at the bottom like a triangle. They don't have to be identical, and they don't have to be perfect. That looks pretty good. Now let's make her eyebrow. This is a cute face. I think you're gonna like learning this face. I use it a lot, and it's easy, it's quick, and it always looks good. Now let's blush the cheeks. Now I'm going to apply glue to the back of the face, the white glue again, and I'm going to glue her face right there. So I'll turn it over and just center it over that heart. While that's drying, let's talk about the hair. You guys, I don't even knit or crochet, but when I was in Hobby Lobby and I looked at the yarns, I saw this stuff, and immediately I was like, bam, I'm gonna make a gnome Valentine couple, and this is what I'm gonna use for her hair. This is called Yarn Bee Showstopper Blush Pink. It's pretty awesome. I imagined that it would be like wool roving, which I am familiar with and use in a lot of projects, which if you pull on wool roving, it just kind of pulls apart into these beautiful ends, but this won't do that. So I was a little disappointed, but I still got it to work. Now it's a lot of trial and error, and so I want you to benefit from my efforts. I've used 3 sections of this, 3 lengths, and each of them is a yard long. It's longer than you think. So 1, 2, 3. Now I know that if I had just seen a picture of this and was watching it now for the first time, I would be very curious about how the hair is done. So you won't have to wait any longer. Take 1 section of this yarn and we're going to stitch right here with matching thread. So I sewed forward and back in the center of the section, and now I'm going to do, this is the front and these 2 are the back. So now I will stitch through the center of both of these. Kind of lay them side by side like this, and then just stitch forward and back through the center. Now I tried a lot of different ways to create this hair. I laid this out on an index card. I laid it out on a piece of bias tape. I tried all different things, and you can benefit from my efforts because this really worked just fine. Because I know this probably hasn't dried yet, I'm just going to go ahead to the next step and set the hair aside. And that is select your favorite jelly roll strip. There are some Valentine collections. This one is from a couple of years ago. I really liked it. And we're just going to gather 1 edge. And this is going to create sort of a little skirt for her. And I'm just going to glue this all the way around the bottom, starting and beginning on the side. The side will be covered by the braid, so that's the best place to start. I'm putting the glue actually on the ruffle. Right where the little stitching is. I use my ruffler attachment on my Bernina to create this ruffle. I put it on a setting of 6, which means that it tucks or gathers every 6th stitch. I don't know about you, but I just keep staring at that hole in the sweater. I just hope the braid will cover it. I think it will. I think we'll be okay. Now I'm back around to where I began. I'm going to cut off maybe like 1.5 inches of overlap there, and then fold this in and then glue it down. So first I'll glue it in, and then I'll glue it down. Okay, there's her little skirt, and this is sort of like her bodice. Which is a little bit tricky, but here's the idea. The idea is to glue this piece here, to glue this piece in the back, and then we're going to pull this forward to braid down like this, so that the braid will sort of cover the side of the bodice here. So that's the idea. Might as well plunge in. I put some glue along the underside of the sewn down part right there. And there we go. And then in the back, I'll do the same thing with this piece. I'll apply some glue along the part Try to get it to about the same height. Now, this is the tricky part. You're gonna have to pull. This is still in 2 sections. So pull the top section all the way around to the face. So all the way. Hopefully yours doesn't have a hole. So that's the first part of the braid. And then, let's see, pulling it forward, just braid all the way down. See if I can get it, okay. All right. That's the idea. This will be covered by the hat. Try to get them to match as best as you can. Let's see. I think that looks pretty good. Great. I'm going to tie that off with a double strand of off-white quilting thread. I'm going to make it about halfway down the skirt. Halfway down the skirt. Now I'm going to trim the bottom of the braids about 1 inch below the tied off part. Perfect. And then kind of fluff out the bottoms. Ha ha ha. Yes, this is great. There we go. See? There's her braids. I'm going to glue a little bit more first. I'm going to glue in here a little bit so that it sticks a little better to the back of the head. There we go. And then I'm going to glue under here. There's that hole. I had a feeling this would work out. I want to cover that side of the face right there. Pull it forward enough to conceal the side of the face. I think this is going to be great. So here's the hat. I'll just cut it, sew it with red thread, and turn it right side out. Right sides together, I'll pin this and stitch and turn it to the right side. Okay, here's my hat. I pulled it on, and in the back, I pulled it way down over the hair. And then in the front, it's kind of slanting up. It's just right over her face, so you can see her hair and her face, and then it's going to slant back down. I'm going to tuck this little edge under and stitch it with a doubled strand of quilting thread. I have red quilting thread, double strand, and I'm just going to stitch it all the way around. I'll pin and stitch. I'm going to add some glue to secure this braid right along the side of the heart bodice. Right there. And here. Now we have some embellishments. Okay, this pink string is from the Target dollar spot. And this is about 2 yards maybe. I will wrap it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I have plenty of string. Do I want it up that high? Yeah, I think I do. First I'll tie a knot. And then a bow. And then a sticker to hold everything together. And then I'll tie an overhand knot in the end of each streamer. Then I want to add a little bit of lace around her skirt. This one will be good. So I'll start underneath one of her braids. And I'm applying the glue right along that stitched line. Which is nice for lining it up just right. Overlap right underneath the braid. Cute. Then a little decoration right here. I've chosen this little, it's a velvet bow with a rhinestone in the middle of it. These are vintage. And I've never used them for anything, and suddenly it just seems perfect. Since her hair looks like cotton candy, I think I'm going to name her Candy. And I think her sweetheart is Carl. What do you think, Carl and Candy? I almost forgot the pom-pom on the top of her hat. I know you don't need to watch me sew on a pom-pom, but I'll do it and I'll show you when it's done. What do you think, Candy? She likes the pom-pom.